Well, Dr. Torres, it's great to see you. Can you remind the viewers the severity of the injuries that Tiger sustained in his car accident way back in February?
Yeah, definitely great to see you guys as well. And if you remember back in February when he had the accident, one of the big questions was, would he even save the leg? Would he even be able to have a leg anymore? They were able to salvage the leg. They had to do some extensive surgery, especially to the lower part of the leg, because the bone had been fractured in multiple places. So they had to put a rod in the bone. Plus, the muscle had swollen to the point where there was a concern again that he could lose the leg. So they had to open up that muscle surgically, and then it had to take the time to heal and repair. So this has been a very extensive surgery, very extensive recovery, and now he's at this point right now, just 9 months later.
What was your reaction to seeing a video like that? Tiger Woods out there on a driving range swinging a golf club again.
You know, there were actually two reactions. One was, oh, this is great. He's out there. He's on the golf course. He's swinging in the golf club. He looks like he's doing well. And when you look at the dynamics behind it, it looks like a good swing, especially for him, who, you know, is the master of the swing here. But at the same time, it's just a start. You know, he said making progress. A great start could be another title for this. And it's just one very small snapshot into what has to be a very extensive playing period. And we don't know where he's going to be there yet.
Well, doctor, how would you describe the intensity of the rehab and physical therapy for someone who was in Tiger's situation to even be able to stand on a driving range and hit golf shots again?
Yeah, I think it's great that he can stand on the golf range. He can make those shots at just 9 months in. Again, after the surgery, the recovery, everything. I know recently he took the crutches off and was seen walking a few weeks ago. There was a noticeable limp on that right leg. If you look in the video, he's wearing that sleeve, and that's probably because of the scarring in that leg and trying to protect those scars in that area. And you can watch him when he takes that swing. He stands, and I looked at it deliberately to see if there was any kind of issue when he put weight on that leg. There was no real issue with that. And so he's at the point where he can do that. But that's one swing. When you look at, doing 18 rounds and he's taking, 60, 70 swings, that's going to be a little bit different. Plus, you have to remember, in these golf tournaments, as you well know, a lot of walking goes on. And that walking, after a while, can tire that leg out, can cause some issues there. So he still has a long way to go, but he's come a long way. And part of this is because of the fitness that he has. But he is also 45 years old, and that takes longer to recover once you start getting to those age brackets. I know it doesn't seem old, but it takes longer to recover once you start getting in your 40s and 50s. And so it'll be interesting to see where he goes over the next couple of weeks.
Dr. Torres, I was going to ask about the age. I mean, if you were dealing with somebody that was 25 years old and they were an athlete trying to come back from an injury like this, how different would it look for someone in their mid-20s versus someone in their mid-40s?
It actually looks a lot different. And what I frequently tell my patients who are in the mid-40s or 50s, we're not 20 anymore, so we're not going to recover like we did when we're 20. We can have these injuries when we're younger and we bounce back very quickly. Rehabilitation goes very quickly. Things heal faster. As you start getting older, it takes longer. But also, if you're in a good fit condition, and you've been in a good fit condition for decades, then that healing process comes a lot faster. The rehabilitation comes faster. You have that muscle memory set in there, which can help you as well. And so he has those things going for him. But the big uphill battle is going to be, one, the severity of the injuries he had and recovering from that. And two, frankly, his age, trying to recover from something like this and adding on top of that all the other injuries and surgeries he's had in the past. That culminates and causes some issues. And I think that's where we're looking at right now.
Yeah, on that note, doctor, Tiger was recovering from that fifth back surgery when he was injured in the car accident. How complicating could that have been to his rehab?
That could be somewhat complicating because in the rehab, one of the things you do is you go to the point where you tell your patients, hey, I want you to be in a little bit of pain, and that's okay. We know that's going to happen. So these achy kind of pains are good, but if you start getting sharp pains or the pain doesn't go away, then that's where we need to slow down and stop. And with other types of recoveries as well, so he's undergoing the back recovery at the same time, that can cause an issue, and that can cause a bit of confusion as to where the pain's coming from, what's causing the pain. And so it slows that rehab down. And once it slows that rehab down, it obviously takes longer to rehabilitate. The fact that he did it in 9 months, I think, is pretty remarkable. And I think that just shows just how fit he was and how determined he is to make this kind of a comeback.
I wanted to ask you about that, doctor. How much does the mindset of an athlete come into play, the focus, the mental toughness that have been Tiger's calling cards for so long? Have you learned something new about him through this process?
You know, I have learned that he is very good at this rehabilitation process, and it's important to have that mindset like you talk about, because rehabilitation is not easy and it can be painful, and you need to be able to push through that pain to get to that rehabilitated state that you want to be in. And so having that, a couple things. One is the fact, again, that he's fit and he's had that athlete mindset for most of his life, but also this is not his first rodeo. This is not the first rehab he's gone through. So he knows what to expect and he knows what the milestones are and what it takes to get there. So I think all that helps him get to this point he's at right now, and hopefully will help him push forward even more. Now, where he's going to be at the end of this is anybody's guess, but my guess is he's probably not going to be back where he was before, but can he adjust around that? That's going to be the important question.
Dr. Torres, this is the point of the show where I ask you to tell viewers and golf fans alike maybe to pump the brakes on expectations. I mean, we see a video like this and we get so excited for what this means for Tiger Woods as a golfer, but important for all of us, golf fans, media, everybody, to pump the brakes a bit in terms of when we might see Tiger Woods back on the golf course.
Exactly. You make a great point to pump the brakes on a couple things. When we might see him on a golf course and when we might see him at that stage where he was before the accident. And those could be two different things. His title of his video there was Making Progress. The other title you could use is A Great Start, meaning that this is just one step in multiple step processes, and he still has a lot to go through. Number one, it was a swing, great, one swing, 3 seconds, but multiple swings, walking between holes. All that's going to complicate things, and he has a long way to go before he can do that, accomplish those 18 holes, and even more so if it's a multiple day event like the Masters, where he has to do it day in and day out. That's going to be tough.
Dr. Torres, we appreciate you taking some time to chat on this Tuesday. We talk to you very, very soon. And Damon, I want to just turn to Tiger Woods in terms of that comeback, because we've seen Tiger make these comebacks before. I mean, injury, personal issues off the golf course and returning to the game. It is a very, very loud situation when Tiger Woods makes a comeback.
It really is, and everybody gets excited even before the social media era. I go back to 2008. He wins the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. He misses 8 months dealing with the leg surgery and coming back from that. I was working with Sports Illustrated at the time. Sports Illustrated put Tiger Woods on the cover in March of 2009 when he announced his comeback. This wasn't a golf shot hit. This was just Tiger saying, I'm coming back. Look at the size of the picture, the return of Tiger. I wrote this story, and I interviewed a lot of people in and around the game to kind of ask them what they were feeling. At the time, the economy was really struggling in the United States. One of the great heroes of baseball, Alex Rodriguez, had admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs. So I interviewed some folks. How important and impressive is it that Tiger is coming back? Tommy Roy, producer of golf at NBC Sports, said to me, when you have what is going on in the country in 2009, people escape their troubles by watching sports. And this, Tiger's comeback, is the biggest sports story we have going on right now. I interviewed Rocco Mediate, of course, the runner-up to Tiger in 2008 at the U.S. Open. He's the man. He's the king. He's it. Our tour's cool, but it's really cool with him. I guarantee you that he wins the match play. You think he's coming out not 180,000%? He's not coming out going, let's see how I do. That's not going to happen. He's still Tiger. And then this from Roger Maltby, our colleague at NBC, and I refer to this quote quite a bit. We are starved for him. I don't mean to be unfair to any of the other guys, but a lot of people can play the fiddle. Only one guy is Itzhak Perlman.